Hello and welcome to another episode of Clutch Trick Gaming. Today we're going to take this little Nissan Silvia and show you how to convert a drift car into a car that's specialized for playing playground games. It's going to have rally suspension, dirt tires, and a V12 swap by the time we're done. But a good car is sometimes all it takes to go from being a really sucky playground games character to someone that can actually hold their own and do pretty well. So stay tuned. Speaking of sucking, I'm sucking at my drifting. So first off, the Nissan Silvia Spec R Horizon Edition is one of the more sought after cars in the game, and for good reason. It makes a great drift car and has many options for modification, and it's just an all-around good looking car. To pick one up, you're going to spend about 5 million credits to buy one straight out. Looks like some of them, the starting bids are a little lower, but generally those are going to be set up to where you're not going to get these things cheap. Looky, there's somebody trying to sell one for 10 million. Not saying you're going to get that much out of it, but if you want one of these, expect to at least spend a few million credits on it. One of the things I always do for my playground games cars is I always go for all-wheel drive. I don't care who you are or how well you think you can drive. When you're having to drive on different surfaces, dirt, asphalt, sand, you want to have an all-wheel drive car. You want it to be able to handle as well as possible. So in this case, we're going to continue to go with the wide body kit from Rocket Bunny to make sure we get our tires out there as far as possible. Now what's unique about the Horizon Edition on this car here is that we can convert it all the way to a 6.5 liter V12. I already have my playground games car, the M3, the Insultinator. It's a V8 car and it's perfect, but every once in a while you get involved with some guys that have more power and you just can't handle it. So I need to have a car that handles similar to my M3 but has the power of a V12, and I'm hoping that's what this car can be for me. So we did the V12 swap, we did the all-wheel drive swap. Now I'm going to build this engine. I'm going to go for all the power I can possibly get. There we go. The V12 swap cars, when they're totally maxed out, they're always 1515 horsepower. Then we're going to go with the race brakes, which looks like was already included in the Rocket Bunny kit. But this is where things get really radical. Now we go to rally suspension. We're going to lift the car up. We're going to go with sway bars. It already has them. We're going to go with a cage. And we're going to lighten the car up as much as possible for acceleration and handling. Now that it's all-wheel drive, I also need to adjust or add on everything I can in the driveline and transmission section. This is going to enable me to adjust my shift points to get them to where they're optimized for a short distance hard acceleration. Also going with the dirt tires, and we want those dirt tires as wide as possible. With wheels, I like to pick something that's lightweight. No sense lugging around a big heavy wheel just for looks. Looks like we can drop 15 pounds right there by going with this wheel. And it doesn't look too bad. What else do we have available? Ooh, I kind of like that. It's got a little bit of a lip to it. Let's go with that. Now when it comes to rim or tire, however you want to say it, wheel diameter, I don't usually like to go with a tall diameter. I like to go with something small, so I'm going to go with a 16-inch diameter wheel, and that's going to allow more sidewall to my tire. More sidewall is going to give more flex, which gives more traction, a little more controllable traction. So we did that all the way around, And last but not least, we want to give ourselves everything we can here in downforce. And it looks like we only have one option that's adjustable, and that's all that matters right now is adjustability. So we picked the Forza Special. And the hood, we can drop 8 pounds by going to a stock hood. I'm going to do that. Looks like I'm not able to do any kind of downforce, any kind of wing on the front. That sucks. But we got all the power and we got everything we need right now to build this car and make it what we want it to come out as. Doing this, it's an S2 class 962, 2,882 pounds. So we picked up a little bit of weight, but we doubled our horsepower. We also lost a little bit on the lateral G's because we went to dirt tires. That's a bit of a trade-off because you are on asphalt in games, but much of the time you're on dirt. So now for all my Playground Games tunes, I'm kind of giving away the secrets to the kingdom here. This is the way I tune them all. Drop your tire pressure all the way down. You obviously want all the traction you can get. The gearing, you can go in and you can fine-tune each one of these gears, but for Playground Games it's really not that important. I just tune what's called the final drive, or a ring and pinion on a real car, and I look down in the bottom right hand corner where I see gearing and I see miles per hour listed there. In a Playground Games car, you don't need a lot of miles per hour. You don't need to go 250 miles per hour. You just need to get moving really fast before you swerve or turn to get away from somebody. So I turn this down towards the acceleration side, which is also called gearing the car lower. And I'm watching my top speed, that last white mark to the right, the top of it. I'm watching that, and when it gets down to where it looks like it's going to be between 150 to 200 miles per hour, I consider that good enough. For the alignment, don't really get into this much on Playground Games cars, but we're going to make these straight up. That's making sure that our tires, the tread part of our tire, is flat on the ground as much as possible, giving us all the traction we can get. Our anti-roll bars or sway bars, really not a huge concern in this type of driving. I picked them mainly because they reduce weight of the car. But here's where the magic starts to happen. Our spring rate, the spring's job is just to hold the car up and keep it in position. So I'm going to run that all the way down. And ride height, I'm going to go down to about the middle. This is just kind of a rough tune right now. Go about the middle. We do need a little bit of height to give us clearance to get over some of the things when we're being chased or when we're chasing someone else, but we don't need the car just sky high to where it handles bad either. Rebound stiffness and bump stiffness. This is big time, guys. Rebound stiffness is how fast the car rises back up after it lands or hits a bump. We want it to come up pretty slow. That prevents it from bouncing and chattering around and losing control. So to make that come up slow, I'm going to make those shocks stiff in the rebound section. The bump stiffness is how fast the car goes down when it hits a bump. So we want to make that soft, and I could probably leave that alone, but I'm going to make it softer. That way the car can go down quick but come up slow. Aero, the front we can't do anything with. The rear we're going to turn it all the way up. Now if I had some downforce on the front, if I had a wing up there that was adjustable, I'd max that out also. Brakes I don't worry about. And when it comes to differential, I kind of play a little bit according to what type of car or what I'm using. I don't know this car yet. I do know that it's primarily sold as a drift car on here, so I'm expecting a lot of steering angle. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave a lot of my power going to the rear wheel rather than splitting it 50-50. So I'm going to leave it alone here at a 65% split. Now let's take this thing out and drive it a little bit and see what it's like. My first test when I build a car like this is just to take off across the desert and just let it hit things and bounce around and see how it behaves. You can see right here the car's got a little bit of bounce to it, but we have really softened it up a lot and made it handle those bumps in a very controllable way with what we did to the suspension. See how when the car lands, it just kind of lands and sticks. It's not bouncing and bouncing. The front's not shooting up. We're just kind of sticking to the ground like glue. That's exactly what we want. That gives me the ability to control this car. And one of the reasons I really like building drift cars into my playground games cars, watch that front wheel out there. When I'm sliding, I'm going to pull the parking brake. Watch how far those wheels go out there. With a whole lot of steering angle. And right now I'm basically just holding the car to the floor and just steering back and forth. And it's letting me get this car as sideways as possible. And it will still straighten up because that steering angle is so great in the front. That is why I like to use drift cars or drift skills cars for this type of application. So, looks like our suspension is where I like it. Also notice the gearing. We're not going really fast like we would want to on like a Goliath or one of the other circuit type races. But for playground games, our speed is just fine here. You're hardly ever going to be going over 150 miles per hour. And just check this thing out here. I think our top speed's around 160. But the key is being quick. Getting going fast. That's what really matters in a game. I think we're good enough. We can take this thing and we can try to hook up a few games and see if it's going to perform like I hope it does. But before that, I'm going to swing over to the paint booth and throw my Insultinator Special Edition paint job on it. Now that we're out of the paint booth, I'm going to throw on my headphones and hook up some games. See if this thing really performs like I hope it does. And also, I'm noticing here that now that I'm out of the paint booth also, I'm not loving those wheels quite like I did before. I left them black originally, but I wanted to throw a little bit of color at them. And now they're just, it's just not quite getting me like I want it to. Notice how the lip of the wheel is different than the center. It will change as I move. But the way I did that was just by using your flip-flop colors at the beginning. And changing it to pink with yellow highlights. It really looked good in the paint booth. I'm not loving it right now. So, that being said, let me hop online and hook something up. Just so happens as I'm heading over to start my own event, someone else starts an infected event. So let's see if I'm going to be at all competitive with this. Here we go. So far I've only done this with cars that are HE or Horizon Edition Drift Skills cars. At least here lately. Used to, I did this all the time with like the Dart, with your buggies, with anything that seemed like it would either be really fast or handle really well. I would try to make them into a specific playground games car. And I found that with a drift car, that is where it is at if you want the best of maneuverability and skill. Alright, looks like we got a decent game here. We got 4 people. We got someone with an X-Class car. And I'm not infected to start with. So, that's a good start to me. Oh, there we go right there. And got a little bit of lagging already. I see him kind of moving weird. Oh, lots of the weird lagginess. That's not going to bode very well for me. Let's see how we do on just a stupid jump. We're going to go ahead and follow this guy a little bit. Kind of tease him. See if we can get him to chase us. Uh-oh. My little bit of lagginess is not going to help me out here. I can't tell what he's doing. Oh, looks like he's chasing me down. He finally did catch, he took the bait. But can that Lambo match the maneuverability of a drift car built for the games? And looks like we dumped him pretty quick. Nice landing there. Oh, I hope that picked up on the editing software here. How he literally just appeared right there. That's where this lagginess really gets you. Honestly, I haven't had lag like this in a while. And it looks like someone else has been tagged now. Everyone's tagged. I am the last car roaming around here. Massive lag going on. But so far, I'm very pleased with how the car is handling. Let's see. Oh, he's going to try to come at me that way. They want to go that way. Ah, somebody got me there. All in all, not a bad run. Just kind of caught a bad streak there at the end. Let's see here. But you can see that's exactly why you want that rapid acceleration. Because basically what he did, he had a run. I came around a building. I'm trying to take off as he's coming at me. I just couldn't quite accelerate fast enough to get away from him. Let's try another one, see what happens. Oh, my class, I'm almost evil. Ah, looks like we're going to be playing infected, and I get to be infected first. Let's see if we can tag both of these guys as fast as possible. So I'm going to start off by just waiting a second, let that mini-map get up and tell me where they're at. And then going after them. Looks like our first prey here is a Ford GT. And, oh, I second-guessed myself and let off the throttle. He is an X-Class car. I did see that when we started out. Let's see what it takes. See if we can run down an X-Class car with this thing. This is exactly why you want to build a variety of cars for games. You never know when you might need a car that's got a little more motor to it than others. I love my M3, but the M3 with its V8 just could not hold a light to anything with an X-Class. Right now, I'm actually not doing very good either. Of course, I am talking a bit, trying to make a video. And there he is. Okay, I'm going to go for this other guy, because already I was hoping I would clear this out in 1 minute. That hasn't happened yet. This other guy seems to be parked down here, just hanging out. We're going to go get him. The weather's setting. I might get lucky and get them both at the same time. Who knows? Got one. Where's the other? It's time to show him no mercy. Looks like that guy just chose to sit there and not come help. So. Chase down this X-Class car here. And that's how you do it right there. The V12 and the acceleration really worked great. So there you go. That's how I build and how I tune my infected cars. Not necessarily the best example to show you, but you did see that I was able to catch these guys. So please leave your comments in the comment section. What do you think about this? What do you think about the tune? What could I do better? And also, if you like this video, please help me build this channel by showing or sharing this video to a friend within the next 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's like, you got to get it done right now. Pretty much. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great day.